Who do you follow? Do you follow yourself? Or do you follow Christ? FYI. You can't do both. Jesus is the only way. There is only one gospel. Repent of doing things our way. Repent of following after ourselves, following after our flesh, our lustful desires, and turning to Christ, trusting in Him. I used to follow many gospels. Do you? I used to follow the gospel of food. Well, if I just eat this, then it'll calm my nerves, it'll do this, that, and the other thing. I used to follow the gospel of music. And this music will take me elsewhere. I'll get my mind off of matters. I used to follow the gospel of sports. Filled a need somewhere. The gospel of Christ. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with music. I mean, I have music posted on my page. There's nothing wrong with eating. I think we all know this, right? The point is, where is our dependency? Jesus is called, to be Lord of Lords. The gospel of Christ is turning from our way and trusting in Him in all things. He is to be all in all. I think there's many times we say this, but we don't get it. Jesus is sufficient. Do we know Him with all that we are? Are we surrendering everything to Him moment by moment? Is He glorified in our lives? Surrender is something that we do. It's a letting go. It's trusting Him. And when we look at that word surrender from a human perspective, it's very scary. Why? Because it goes against everything we've been taught in this world. We're taught not to trust people. We're taught, to do things ourselves, to be independent, to, all that stuff. And these walls start going up. These huge walls. And we don't realize it, but these walls are going up right in the face of God. And so when the Lord calls us and He shows us truth, we're called to tear down that wall. We're called to surrender. We're called to raise the white flag, and come to Him and let go and trust Him, being totally open, not to the world, open to Christ. And He ends up, and this word that we think is so scary actually becomes extremely freeing, because He's freed us from the cage that we've built. The fortress that we've built for ourselves to protect us from everything else. And in essence, we end up caging ourselves. And God comes along and He sets us free. This is the gospel of Christ. He sets us free from our sinful life. He sets us free from following after our flesh. Sets us free from fear. And we're able to trust Him. He calls us, trust me. That is the gospel. Turn from doing things your way and trust me. And you know what? God is faithful. He's faithful to His word. He's totally faithful to His word. I speak this from experience. Okay, my walls used to be so high. And God has been more than a blessing to me. So I ask you, again, who do you serve? And if you're answering yourself, or you're answering both, there's a heart issue. You need to go before God and humble yourself. Cry out to Him. If there's idols in your life, you need to tear them down. Go to the Lord, repent, turn to Him, trust in Him in all things, so that God be praised. May the Lord bless you and keep you. In His mighty name.